My name is Dylan.
And my name is Polly.
And
this is Type 1 Parenting.
I came to LA to hang out with Poli from the Bombpops and eat some food, and now we're going to talk about diabetes.
Well, how I found out was I was 16 years old and I was actually on a vacation with my family, and we had a motorhome and we were going up the coast, and every day I had to pee a lot and I was super thirsty. Do you remember that feeling of being super thirsty? And I was very grumpy as well. And because my dad has diabetes and my younger brother had diabetes at the time, when we got back from the vacation, I told my mom, I've just been so thirsty lately and I've been having to pee a lot and I don't feel good. And she said, well, test your blood. So I tested my blood sugar, and sure enough, it was like 300 or something. And I was planning to go to a friend's house for a sleepover that night. So my parents kind of let me have my last hurrah. They let me go and have a sleepover, and I remember eating a lot of ice cream. And then I went to the doctor the next day, and it was just bam, like, you know, all of a sudden.
Bam, thank you, ma'am.
I felt like that. I felt like I went to the doctor and they're like, you have diabetes, bye, here's your stuff. It's like, this is what I'm gonna have to live with for the rest of my life, right? It's kind of a trip. What at least we can find the humor in it. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. So how did you find out?
I found out by peeing my bed first time, drinking water too much, and peeing a lot. My stepmom saw it was unusual, and she sent my dad to take me to the doctors. But he didn't take me to the doctors. And then
because you think, oh, you're fine.
I peed my bed again, and then she took me to the doctor. They sent me to the emergency room, and this hiss of air on my arm just went off, and I'm like, what's going on? What happened? So what would be your scariest though?
Well, I've been diabetic for 11 years, and I just recently had my scariest low. I was on tour with Strung Out in October, this past October 2018, and we were at a tour stop in Utah, and I was using the bathroom at the gas station, and I felt totally fine, but I came out of the bathroom stall, and I was like, whoa, it like hit me all of a sudden. Like, you know that feeling, right? So I ran to my tour manager, and he tried to grab me all this stuff in the gas station, like orange juice, all this stuff, and it was just too late. I was already throwing up and I couldn't keep anything down. And that's when I knew, I was like, if I'm not keeping this orange juice down to help my blood, like it's done. I'm done. So the last thing I remember is like sitting on this bench, and then I passed out when I woke up with paramedics around me. And honestly, if it wasn't for my tour manager and the paramedics being there in 8 minutes in a hospital right nearby, I don't know what would have happened, but that was scary. And being on tour, that was really scary as well. And then what about your scariest low?
You know, it's not my worst low, but my scariest low, personally, in my opinion, would be at Target. You know, passed out. I was fine walking through the boys section, and by the time I'm walking past my dad and my sister, they're like, what's going on? Why are you walking away? And then what really got them is I was walking to the towel section for no reason. And then my dad came and tried to take me to the bathroom, and by the time we got to the cashiers, I was already on the floor. So we couldn't get me a juice. We got me a soda, quick-ish, and we couldn't really check my blood till I was on the floor. And they gave me the glucagon. We were almost late to a wedding that we had to go to.
But you still made it to the wedding?
Still late to the wedding.
That's what I'm talking about. Nothing can stop us.
A couple weeks ago, actually, I was really high because I had to change my pump. I had like 5 or 6 units left in the morning, and I put it on my stomach and got to school. I was high. I did exercise. I checked again. I was high. Did more exercise, and they sent me to class because I was missing too much class. And then they told me to come back in an hour because I might be better in an hour. And then I came back down in an hour, and I was still high. And then
Sometimes exercise can make your blood sugar go high. Have you noticed that sometimes?
yeah, and then we called my dad because it was all my ketones were at 0.6 at the time, and they started out at 0.2 and then went up and went up and went up. When my dad got there, it was at 1 ketone.
Oh, wow.
But 1 point.
And then your stomach, how did you,
0.9.
like, how did you feel? Because when I'm high, my stomach really hurts, and I don't feel hungry. He said he feels hungry when his blood sugar's
For me
high.
at the time, they kept me contained in an office so I wouldn't do anything and stuff. And so if I went to class, I would pass out. By the time my dad got there, I was at 0.9. And if I were to go up one more, they would have to call the ambulance. So
Do you
got
feel
there in
that?
the nick of time.
Do you feel that your school understands? Your school nurse understands the disease and
Some of the times.
some of the times?
Sometimes.
It's not other people's fault, right? I mean, you see a lot about type 2 diabetes on commercials, and people think, oh, did you eat a lot of sugar when you were a kid? Did you used to be overweight? I get that all the time. I'm like, no, I got this when I was 16. It's just my pancreas stopped working. It's nothing with how you ate. It's nothing about how your dad is raising you or feeding you. There is a common misconception of that, and that is my main, and I think your main goal is to get that out there to people and just educate people on the difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes.
What's your positive thing about diabetes?
My positive thing about diabetes is I feel like, in general, it has made me a stronger person, a more understanding person of other people. You never know what somebody, you would look at you look like a cool punk rocker, teenage kid, person that is perfectly healthy. You never know what someone's going through on the inside, whether it's mentally or physically. But not only that, yeah, just being a strong person, understanding what everyone could be going through. And I don't think I would have it taken away if I could, because as much as it sucks, it's taught me a lot, and it humbles me down, and we're strong. We got it because we're strong, we can handle it. That's what I think. That's what I want to believe.
I've always thought of it this way. If the cure came out and I were to do it, I'd have to be put on saline because I'd take shots of insulin and then kill myself.
You would forget.
Because I'm so used to it.
So used to it, and to me, it's just part of life. It's like getting up and brushing your teeth. I mean, it sucks. And the other important thing to understand too is sometimes it's fine to have bad days and feel sorry for yourself. Because there's sometimes you're allowed to feel sorry for yourself and break down and cry. Because I do that sometimes. Because it's not fair. Why do all my friends get to go out and eat and not care, not have to think about it? We're thinking about everything we do, So it's okay sometimes to feel bad, but the next day, it's a new day. You get back on it. And
we did the research and we found out by the time I'm 80 years old, over $1 million is going to be spent on medicine for me.
Oh God. I'm so glad. That was a horrible. I'm so glad to have met you. And what are we doing?
We're changing
the world one pancreas at a time.
No, if I never had diabetes, I wouldn't be never.
That's so true. Oh my God, did you hear what he said? If he didn't have diabetes, he would have never met me. He's the sweetest.